What's up, Bolt? Love you, man. How are you doing? Ah, my Marsha Brady collection. Yep, you figured me out. Yep. Huge fan. Marsha. It's the wallpaper in my bedroom is. Mel hates it. No, I actually I do know exactly where the grandeur coin is. It is a Jack Eichel, out of 1,000 or out of 5,000. I'm good, man. How are you? I'm hoping I fixed the microphone issue. I can't guarantee that I have. I'm starting to believe it is a an input issue. I don't think it's the microphone. Um, I think it might be a hardware issue. So we're gonna see. I do have an on monitor, so I can at least take a take a gander. That might be a little bit too high. There we go. Interface. I have the microphone. What's going on, Comic Con Maestro? I am good. Comic Cons came through. What's going on, bud? What's up, Haji? Well, Maestro, maybe it's you. Maybe it's a you thing. I just turned down the or turned up the latency. I don't know. I just switched the latency on YouTube, so it's supposed to be a little bit better. What's going on, Sean? Wolf, what's up? Right? that's that's true. Purple is the color of royalty as well, because back in forever ago, the only way you could make purple is by crushing and extracting the color from the carapace of certain beetles. And it was extremely expensive to make, so only royalty could afford purple in the beginning. Yeah, see, Comic Con's got some advice for you. Today, what's up, Belinda? My dear, tell me, how is your weekend? What's up, Tony? I'm glad you found me, buddy. I was trying not to hide. I'm annoyingly in plain view for most people. Nice. It was freezing here in Buffalo today. It was like 38 degrees at one point. It was cold. See, there you go. It's good to be heard. It is very good to be heard. So unlike some of the previous videos, Monday and Thursday, we're actually going to talk about collecting in cards today. Um, I am going to attempt to stop spinning in my chair because it's a bad look on camera. But we're going to talk a little bit about collecting and what collecting means to me. So it's going to be a video that is more on cue with the content. Excuse me, that I'm supposed to be putting out. The camera is not mounted. It is still on the screen. I have found a couple of decent places to mount the camera. However, I'm going to wait just in case I have to change. Happy Friday, Benj. Just in case I have to change the outlook of everything. Yeah, the Gretzky record breaker sale. It's good to see some of the mid-range to older cards reclaiming the throne. But I have a feeling if everything goes as planned and that thing that I can't talk about happens, which it looks like it is happening, I may have to switch out the way the room is set up anyway. So I don't want to permanently start nailing things to the wall, considering they're plaster walls, just to move it again. So I'm just going to do my best not to shake the table or the monitor anymore. The microphone issue, if I did some troubleshooting through the help section of um, the software that I use, um, and it could be a hardware issue. I could be having a bit of a problem when with the Scarlet, but we're gonna find out. Nope, don't have an idea. But trust me, you guys are gonna be the first to know, and it's gonna be pretty earth shattering. Oh, baby, it's gonna be earth shattering. Um, there are going to be a lot of there's going to be a lot of happy people about the announcement, and there's going to be a handful of really angry people. Um, but I don't care about the angry people. I'm stoked for the. I mean, I do enjoy that they are going to hate it a little bit, but I'm stoked for the people who are going to be excited. That's going to be a lot of fun. But I can't go into detail. I will as soon as I can. Trust me, there's a lot of legalities that go into it. Today I as the well, thank you. Right? Now you know it. You know it, Belinda. There's always gonna be haters. Always. No. I don't have bounties because I don't have any of your addresses. Not unless you're a Patreon. Then I think you guys had to fill something out, but I'm not 100% sure. Um, So I'm going to talk a little bit about my collecting adventure, and I also want to. I'll be taking some time to talk to letting everybody share theirs as well. But I did want to kind of give everybody the background in my collecting, what I look for as a collector, what I'm looking forward to turning my collection into, and also opening up the chat to kind of hear about everybody else's as well. And I think we'll do it like an old school style where at the end of me kind of going over my thing, what's going on, Bourbon? Once I finish my little spiel and my little story about everything, I will kind of like call on whoever's interested to kind of share theirs. I know you guys are on chat, so it is a little tougher to do that. So keep that in mind. We'll try to keep it as brief as possible, but I do want people to share. I don't want to stifle anybody's um, stuff. So there you go, Bourbon. First week as your own man. Instead of getting somebody else rich, you're making yourself rich. That's the way to go. Um, I have come to a understanding and realization in my life, which kind of puts me where I am here. Um, yeah, I have like a daytime job, like just nothing crazy, just a bill payer. And I'm working towards not Okay. Um, yeah, it's not a heat thing because it's actually freezing in here. So we know nothing's overheating. I did some troubleshooting on the microphone to see what it was, and there doesn't seem to be anything going on. So it might be a hardware issue, not a software issue. But I'm going to keep troubleshooting over the weekend, try to get this figured out. Worst case scenario, I just send back a couple of pieces and get new ones and see if those are the issue. Um, yeah, so I will be working with some people to get to the point where um, I'm making a good amount of money for myself and not necessarily making somebody else grow their wealth um, obnoxiously. Um, and I found somebody that's willing to partner with me and really give me my fair share and more. So it's going to be great. I appreciate it, Comic Con. I think one of the things that somebody said they had a similar issue as I was going through kind of some of the chats and some of the walkthroughs, and they were saying just bad connectors that are causing it to happen. And once the uh, once the mic cuts out, it won't cut back in until you manually turn it back in. And I think that's kind of what's going on here a bit. So we'll see. Um, I don't want to get too much into what's coming up in the future for me, business wise. I do need to keep it pretty close to my chest because, there's a contingency of people that are. What's going on, Dan? There's a contingency of people who are taking note of everything I say, and will try to jump ahead of me one step, and I'm not going to give them the ammunition. So that's why I'm keeping it close to my chest. All right, so let's get into the content. It's 13 minutes into the video. Let's actually start what I came here for. I've got 19 of you chilling here. I appreciate that. Love each and every one of you. It's been bonkers that I've been averaging between 18 and 22 people for all of the videos, and I've a couple hundred views of my previous videos, which is mind blowing as well. It's like uh, I feel like that actress, this sweet actress. You like me. You really like me. And that's what it feels like. Oh, hey Tom. What's up, buddy? Yeah, Tom. So, I mentioned this in a video before, but I will uh make it brief again. I resigned a couple weeks ago. They decided that they wanted to just release me on Monday. So I had to kind of scramble and get this together, reach out to everybody that was part of the community. And I apologize, Tom, that I didn't get out to you. I tried to post everything on Instagram, and I'm not allowed to obviously post on any of my previous employers' sites because obviously that's something that I personally me can't do. But I figured if word of mouth could get around, hopefully we'd get everybody back to hanging out. Um, so this is more of a content driven channel right now as opposed to a break channel. In the future it might be, but right now it's a content driven channel. And with that content, I wanted to start this video talking about how I became a collector and what the start was and the false starts that I had in collecting, um, the tragedy that occurred in my collecting, and then where I'm at now. So I'm gonna jump into that. Um, so I was born and raised in Buffalo and went to school here. And football is the number one. Football and hockey are the two big sports. We have a AAA baseball team, the Bisons, who are were the farm team for multiple different teams as I grew up. But the mainstays were the Sabres and the Bills. So um, first and foremost, I collected football, and this would be like 1988. My father would pick up the occasional pack of Topps baseball cards. I remember like one of the first really cool Topps baseball cards I had was the Bo Jackson Royals rookie, which was cool because the guy was an absolute fiend. The man was one of the greatest athletes to play any sport, period. Um, and he would buy me cards, and I was like, "Oh, cool, those are cards." Never really understood that when I was 6 years old, and 5 and 7, and they were kind of lost on me. And then in fourth grade in Winchester Elementary, that was the elementary school I went to in West Seneca. There was a teacher, Mrs. Purdy. Her name is Amy Purdy. So shout out to Amy Purdy if you're still around. Um, she would give away packs of Pro Set football if you did something good in class, and everybody was doing good. I was not a great student. I was really smart. I was in the academically talented programs, but I hated it because they made me do extra work that the other kids didn't have to do. What's going on, Matt? How are you doing, bud? Um, so I kind of just sort of flunked out of those because I didn't want to have to do the extra work because that's how a kid's brain works. You're going to give me extra work. I'm just going to stop doing whatever makes me get extra work. Or at least that's how my kid brain worked. But on occasion, I would get things right when cards were available and she was giving away packs of cards. I was like, oh, I know the answer. Oh, yeah, I can definitely do the answer to this. Oh, dude, I'm fantastic. Thank you for joining, brother. Appreciate you finding me and being here. Um, so it started with a couple of packs of those Pro Set cards, and always wanted to collect the Buffalo Bills. So would trade anything for Bills. And a lot of the kids in the neighborhood had collections, and a lot of them were big hockey fans. And their parents had passed them down old hockey cards from like the 70s and things like that. So they had these awesome, spectacular collections, and I was kind of like, oh, I'll never have that kind of collection. So after a whole solid week of getting questions right and getting packs of cards and accumulating about 100 cards, I was just like, well, I'm never going to have these awesome things that other people have because the concept of trading wasn't really there. So I was just kind of like, I don't want these, and just give them away as I would get them. Um, and then Mrs. Purdy said, why don't you trade them for cards? And she, my fourth grade teacher, taught me how to trade football cards. And that it was okay to trade football for hockey, and it was okay to trade, baseball for football. And it was, you don't just have to trade baseball for baseball. You don't have to trade football for football. You can trade different things. And I thought that was mind blowing as a kid. I was like, wait, you mean I can get two cards? Yeah, and math did come into it. Belinda, she did use those cards for math as well. But then you could learn like, well, and things along those lines. So Mrs. Purdy was really the person who made me aware of collecting, and she was awesome. So now that I had had a grasp of collecting and had an understanding of collecting, and I kept all of my cards in a wooden box because without any protection, because that's what you did when you were 6. And I would carry those around like a little suitcase, just sloshing back and forth inside that wooden box, bending corners and creasing cards, which was the it thing to do when you're 6 years old. I guess it's better than bicycle spokes. My dad used to tell me about putting Joe Montana rookies in his spokes because he had extra ones, and O.J. Simpson cards because he had extra ones. So at least I didn't do that. Um, Probability via gambling. It was, yeah. Belinda. Belinda said I had a math teacher that taught the class probability via gambling. She would bring in a mini roulette table. The 80s were lawless, but I have fond memory of the 80s. Um, and luck would have it, um, somewhere around 1990 or 91, a card shop opened on the corner of the street, around the corner from my house, literally less than a block away. It was literally the corner of Harlem Road and whatever the side street was. And I would have to walk by the card shop to get to school. I was a walker. I would walk to school. Um, I would ditch the bus and walk to school. Yeah, there you go, Haji. I was so bad at baseball, you couldn't calculate my batting average. It was 0 and then numerous foul tips and hit by pitch. Um, but I was great at defense. Like I was a good shortstop. I really was a good shortstop, and I was a really good left fielder. I just couldn't hit the ball to save my tuchus. So the card shop opened up around the B, and lunch money